So, hi, Mehul sir. Welcome to the Sankalp Show. It's really a pleasure to have you.
Same here. Thanks a lot, Sankalp, for having me here.
Yeah. So, first of all, like, I would love to know more about your, initial journey, like back in the day when you were in school, and how did you get started without your college things? I would love to know more about that.
I have completed my 10th, this 10th board in 2001 and this 12th in 2000 and, the three. And after that, I was not, I was kind of a guy that, this just, just read it just before exam, and just if we even get a passing mark, that's more than enough. Yeah, but I always got some better marks in I recall that in my 10 board I got 64.71%, and in 12 I got 57.17%. I remember it very well. But yeah, I after 10 I wanted to do something in this computer field, but because of this percentage and all, and at that time it was very young, and even my parents were not much aware of it, so I thought that okay, no problem, we'll do something later on. So and then I went ahead with this commerce stream 11th and 12th, and then after I selected again this BCom only, which I was not able to complete because I it's like I would say this, once we are into money, right, we start seeing money, then and then but for me it was a different case, because at my home there is no problem in case of money and all. Father is still earning, he don't want to even want to stop working as well. But yeah, but at that time when I joined my previous organization called Easy Technosis, I joined that in December 2007. Before that I was also working, but there were certain circumstances, so I was not able to complete my graduation. But that's okay, one day, yeah, I still want to complete it, maybe the distance or something, at least I will have some graduation, one degree with me. But yeah, so that's pretty much about this school and college. As I say, then I am a FY become I cleared from SY, it's still pending, so maybe in future I will complete. That's the
Yeah.
dream I have.
Definitely, like you told about, it's kind of a college dropping out, and people nowadays, people are doing it deliberately, in your times, yeah, right. So you got, but through some changes, you might have a person might not be able to pursue your graduation, but nowadays it has become like a fashion, or, it's like,
Gotcha.
yeah, right, dropping out of college. And so, I
Lot of
mean,
people are reaching out. Actually, a lot of people are reaching out that okay, I would like to start my startup, because what's it's going on in the social media. Everyone is getting fascinated. So I have to. I'm telling those people that just take a deep breath. At least complete your 10th and 12, because people are in 10th and 12, so they are talking about the size. At least
yeah.
complete it, because board exam are very near, hardly 2 to 3 months. I just complete it. After that, you have time. You can do something, but at least complete. It's very important, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so like I mean, you definitely know the importance of college, right? So like as of now, like the current situation that we are having, but most of the people say that okay, we want to continue with their startup, or they want to start a new startup for the sake, right? So and for that reason, they either do not want to join the college, or they are in the college but they want to drop out of it, right? So what do you
Correct.
think? Like, is it a good decision? I mean, specifically talking in a long term way, because you have come across a long way. So I would love to know that is it a good decision for a person to drop out, or to not to join college at all, or is it something like okay, even without a college degree you can manage out? So what's the scenario looks like?
So what I have seen, Sankal, during this this COVID time, right? That the schools and colleges were closed, right? So many people had started the startup, but as soon as the offline college started, they were literally struggling to manage it,
Mm.
right? Because definitely they have to give the full time for the colleges as well and the school as well, and on top of that, now as they have already started this, it becomes important for them to take care of this as well, right? I think many might have this even closed down as a, just because they are not able to manage it, or that they might have started, 3 4 people have started, but then they are not able to cope up with that, we never know, right? So I always recommend that, like, if you are in a school and college, right, I always recommend as a side hustle for for a couple of hours you want to do something, please do that. Unless you have this very concrete thing, I will personally not suggest that, because I personally see that graduation is very important, right? So if someone would like to complete that, I think it will not take more than, I think 20 or 21, I think 21 year at least you will be able to complete or get graduation, right? So it is still not late, still you can do that. So if I talk about myself right now, I mean, I'm 36. I have just started my startup last year in September. It's been 5 months only. But as a side hustle, you can definitely do that. And something is really working. If you're not loving a study, if you're not loving at all, just for startup, if you are giving up your studies, I personally don't recommend that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, of course, like college is important, right? And like even if you're not able to, I mean, even if you're not interested towards the studying part or the academic of the colleges, but it just for the sake of getting a degree or maybe establishing yourself as a proper I would say academic person, then you should continue with the degree, right? So I would love to ask, like, what were the challenges that that you faced, when you realized that okay, I might have to drop out of college, and then what were the challenges that you faced in order to maybe get a job or start up with a new business, or the things that you pursued after your colleges?
So I would say this, I was lucky enough like that I did not face any such challenges because, in my previous organization, I worked for 14 years, right? I
Mm-hmm.
joined as in December 2007 and I got selected, I was very early in that company and I joined as a support executive, right? So my role is it is supported, but it is more of a sales and support board. So I was selling a product and then at the same time, I was traveling across India and was, it was a hotel and restaurant management software. So I was even installing, it is like sales and support both I was doing. So
Okay,
there's
great.
14 years of time, there's that that degree or this qualification never created a problem for me, but doesn't
Mm.
mean that it will, it is the same for everyone,
Yeah,
right? Even we have
absolutely.
seen that during this COVID time, many people got, they had to leave a job, even, they are getting a good salary, good
Mm.
qualification, right? So I would say I was lucky enough in that time. I did not face that, but I could have faced that problem, or I'm not sure what
Absolutely.
is there in the down the line. I may face that, but for me, I would say this: I was lucky that I did not face any such problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I have seen people, even after, especially talking about the engineering field, because I'm also pursuing engineering. So, like, there's a saying that like there are many engineers graduating day by day, and every year they are graduating in a large number, but most of them are not scalable, or most of them are not able to, they are not work ready, or I would say they do not really have that kind of skills, right? So what, according to
Correct.
you, you feel that okay, this is something which is a missing element in all the people, not specifically talking about just engineers, but in general, because there are a lot of people from different other industries facing the similar kind of problem. So what do you think that what is that particular thing that a person should focus on in order to, even after college, like taking the professional courses on other side, what are the things that people or a person should focus on in order to get hired or maybe scale up their career, basically?
So if you ask me, Sankalp, then I see the three things, those are very important. One is a will, person's will to do certain things, right? Second thing is the right attitude,
Hmm.
right? And the third one is a patience. The third one is a very important. Nowadays people do not have any patience at all, right? If you talk about anything, we need an instant result. Even if you work with the client, they have hired you, tomorrow they said, okay, we would like to see the result. It doesn't work like that, right? You have to have some patience, right? And you have to keep learning. That learning is also important. At the same time, you have to learn it. Sometimes, what I have even seen that, people have a degree and then they said, okay, I would like to start, I need a basic salary of 30,000, 50,000, which is not possible, right? At least you go to the market, you enter into the market and see that, what is your value. It's not you who decide, it's market who decide always, right? Once you go,
Absolutely.
you will come to know that, okay, there are people who are more genius than you and they are still getting less salary. But at least you have to start with, you have to take the step one. So whatever
Mhm.
you get it, right, definitely, you should love it, what you are doing. Unless you have, you have a financial crisis, then you might not have that luxury to choose that some particular thing only. In that case, whatever you are getting, you will get it. But in that case also just don't work like, always work like it's your own company, right? And learn whatever you can and give your, this, I would say not 100%, 110%. Definitely you will see a result, right? That's the thing.
Yeah, like I was reading this post on LinkedIn, right? There it was mentioned that people who, or especially like employees who who have like they started out with their startup, but eventually they failed, and the people or the employees who joined companies that the like after failing or after running a startup, and after that if they join a particular company, they are a lot more important, or they are much more valuable than the employees who are started out just as an employee, right? So I think that it's running a business or running a startup or all these things actually builds up a lot in your skill level, right? Because like especially like talking about my own self, like I have worked with multiple people, people from different sectors, different industries, and I have got to learn so much from them, right? Like taking the academic side of mine on one side, then I have learned a lot of things, like be it in terms of speaking with people, or how to talk, how to negotiate. These are the soft skills that are important, equally important, and you learn all these skills while getting into the market, right? And as you told that you should at least go out and know that okay, this is the real scenario of the market, and this is how you should be dealing out, right? So
Absolutely.
it's great to hear it from you. So in your Twitter bio, you mentioned that you have a sales a background of 14 plus years, right? So how that too in a B2B business, right? So what do you think? Like what do you think about the scenario? Like the B2B is much more easier, or other different segments of the business?
So basically, it's never it is a hard or easy, right? So is a one thing, like you can never win all the customers. It's very
Mhm.
straightforward. And if you look at this industry, the closing ratio that is somewhere around 3 to 5%. That is a closing ratio, right? But it depends. So this is an average, but it can always go plus minus depending on the situation and all those stuff. What I have always learned and believe that mainly all everyone talk about that communication is very important in sales, but I always believe and think in other way around, that if you know your product well, you can sell it like a hotcake, because communication
Mhm.
anyone can do that, right? We are communicating right now, so we are already good at communication. But if you know your product well, so whatever the questions are coming in, you can answer it, and that gives that kind of confidence at the other end, that okay, this person knows the in and out about maybe the industry or the product which that person is just talking about. And communication is definitely is that negotiation is definitely is a very important skill, because if we especially talk about this Indian market is a very price centric market, right? Everyone is expecting a discount. So how you are tackling that is very important, right? But in business, the difference between I would say this business and B2B and B2C is that B2B will take you for for a very long term, right? Because someone is taking your product, or let's say the services. Once they take it, they will will with you for a longer period of time, because their whole business is going to use your application. So it is not like like a peanuts that today they have used one application, tomorrow they will use another. So they will take also a really good time to work on it. They will set up everything there, and it will be for a longer year, at least for minimum this 1 year or 2 year or even more
Mhm.
than that.
More than that.
In my previous organization, I remember that I was serving a client to whom I installed in a long back. So, from the time I sold it, even when I left, still they are a part of that company. So, 12 years, 13 years, 14, that customer is still, with
Yeah.
this company, right? So that kind of relation that happen in B2B. But in B2C, it's very simple. Let's say today there is a some, let's say if we talk about, let's say the toothpaste, for example, right? So there are a lot many brands. Let's say I say that, okay, just for a change, let me do that. You
Mhm.
can do that very easily, right? But for this, it's not possible. Definitely. So it's very important. At the same time, if you can leverage that, so the word of mouth and everything, the referral, that plays the very important role there. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. The the different aspect of B2B is different than B2C, because I mean, just for the sake of curiosity, which is one is more profitable? Like, is it B2B more or B2C, and which requires more efforts in order to sustain?
So this B2B again, if we talk about B2B now, it is now, majority is changing to B2B SaaS, right?
Mhm.
Previously it was all desktop products, so it's a one-time cost plus AMC annual maintenance, but now it's going to SaaS. So your whatever your it's called a LTV, your lifetime value of the customer. So that LTV is like for how long your customer is staying with you,
Mhm.
right? So in long run, SaaS will give you even more revenue. Then I will not say the profit, because
Mhm.
profit depends on lot other things or your
Yeah,
expenses also,
it is
right?
variable product.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
right, if you're a funded company, then if you are paying, if you are spending a lot of money in your your marketing and advertising and all
Mhm.
this, then profit still used to, there are so many IPO came, right? The
Yeah.
Zomato, Paytm, like they are still not profitable business, right? But in terms of revenue, if I talk about, if it is a SaaS, then or if the customer is staying with you 5 years, 10 years, they will pay you a
Mhm.
lot more revenue than a one-time cost for that. So that is the added advantage. Where in B2C is more of the smaller tickets, are the smaller products, where 100 rupees 200 is a one time mainly. So it is like they will make a payment and it's done. There is no support at all, right? We buy,
Yeah.
again, I will get toothpaste, we buy a toothpaste, there is no support at all. You pay,
Yeah.
you get it done. There is no other things with that. But
Mhm.
in B2B, support is also that you have to give a continuous support in order to get your next renewal, for next month renewal. So it is like much more challenge as well. So so in case of B2B or B2B SaaS, customer is this key customer support is a very important thing. If you can give that kind of you can it also as a customer delight or a customer experience or a customer success. If you are doing that, if everyone customer is renewing with you, it means that you
Mhm.
have a good product, plus you have a good support, right? And then client is happy, and that is why they are paying, otherwise they will not pay
Exactly.
you.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
it will always keep the companies on their toes, or
Mhm.
on the edge, that okay, we'll have to be have, on the top, at least after sales, we have to. Otherwise, definitely that someone will come and will take it over. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like being an active member of the on Twitter as well, I've seen that most of the people, the new entrepreneurs, they are more focused towards SaaS, which is the software as a service, right? And your company is also focusing a lot more on SaaS. And the last time I interviewed Udit Goenka, he also runs a software as a service business, right? So, what is the
Right.
advantage that you see in in software products or software services as compared to all the other sort of products? The one that have a more access to the market, or that have a wider audience, right? So, what advantage do you guys see in that?
So number one thing is scalability. If you want to scale it, it's really easy to scale it, because you have to make a product once and you can sell it, to thousands, millions, and billions of people. Definitely, which the audience which you are targeting to, right? So you have mentioned about the Udit, right? So I will say that he's building this marketplace for SaaS product, right? So all the products, mainly you will see it is like a generic in terms. So let's say the company, so let's say there is a one product called a Taskade, right? So it is like the task management tool, so all the companies can use it, right? So it's a huge, the use case is huge,
Mhm.
right? And you
Yeah.
can scale it one time the product is developed, and you can sell it to anyone, right? In case of
Mhm.
service, let's say we talk about the Clueless company, we are into the service base where we are helping companies. We can scale, but not at the level product can scale. So along with, if we grow our client, we have to increase our team capacity as well, where if it is a product, then one account manager or support person can handle up to 50 customer, 80 customer also. This
Yeah.
queries are coming in, which is not possible if we go in this service. So the scalability is, this number one thing I would say.
Yeah, definitely. And as you told that, in the software world, the scalability is a huge thing, and scaling a product is a much better option in order to scale up in a comparison to service based sort SaaS startups, right? So with all this startup boom and entrepreneurship boom in the country, we have seen that there's a little fear among all the people that okay, maybe we are living in a bubble, or with a lot of VC money coming up in the industry. I mean, I read on LinkedIn posts and other Twitter posts that people are actually a little afraid of all these things, right? They still believe that okay, we are living in this the VC bubble or the startup bubbles, right? So like just it's a similar way the we have seen in the 99 the way there was a dot-com bubble and it burst in a very bad manner, right? So what's your take on this? Like, are we living in the reality, like this is what it's going to happen, or we are still in the in the bubble and we are still figuring out what's going to happen?
So for this, everyone's perception or the point of view is different there. If you personally ask me, then I always believe in that. If we bootstrap, that's really good to see. Many people are just thinking that okay, because of everyone is raising fund, let me also raise a fund, that I will be a unicorn and all those stuff. But after that, if you do that, then you are much, you have to answer to many people, that all your stakeholders, you have to answer it, right? You have a much more, let's say you have raised, let's say this, so any funding, right? The pre-seed funding on anyone, right? Once you have taken, you have to keep taking it always,
Yeah,
because all your investor, you also have to give them that exit, right? So
yeah,
once start that journey, there is no stopping there. So you will be under pressure all the time to give that
mm,
exit, all this early investor in that, right? For us also, if I talk about that, for the Clueless company so far, there's a couple of we already had a couple of interview with some angel investor as well as VC. Couple of them have already told that they are even ready to pump some money in the Clueless company. But we know that how our model is a service based model,
mm,
scalability, right? What they get in the product, it is not there, right? So we say that, and we would, and for us, for Mansi and it's we see that it's our this baby, and it's like we are giving away one portion, the one part of our baby to that. So that's a painful, and we are not in need of that. So we are a service based, so again we do not have that lot many expenses. For product based, they might need that funding also at one stage, because they have a product, so they have infrastructure cost, they have a resources cost, they have ongoing cost, there are a lot of costs, right? The server cost and all these things will be there. So definitely they will need some money if they do not have a revenue stream, because if
mm,
you want to make one product, at least you have a 4-5 people team for that, so you need to pay them salary for it. For us, if I talk about that, we are a 3 people team, Mansi, I, and we have a one marketing intern, right? So for
mm,
us, we are working from home, so there is no office expense. Very first thing, there are no other this we just a
yeah,
basic internet and all, and we have an internet. So we have a marketing intern which we have recently hired, so we are going to pay a salary for that. In case if we hire that, it will be for that. Apart from that is no more expenses we have. But
yeah,
in product
absolutely.
it's different, so that they also look at this thing, right? But if it is done in a proper way, if your just whole goal is to take a funding and
Mm,
will exit only, right? So it is your whole game. That is, I will say that someone might just doing a business just for that purpose, build a company, raise a fund, sold it, got acquired completely, and they are now they're building something. It's a whole different thing. So for a
yeah,
different
that's a
people,
different game. Yeah.
but for personal me, as far as possible, I would like to bootstrap. But yeah, at certain level, if you would like to, if you have year on your growth of, let's say, 20, 25, 30%, now you would like to double it up, then only this thing can do that. Because when you have a funding, for it's according to me, it's not about more of a funding, but you should look for a funding from the right people who can hold your hand and take you
Mm,
to the next level.
excellent.
Those
Yeah.
mentor, if you get it, then it will help you at that. Money is not going to do that, right? Money can,
Mm,
and anyone can give you money, right? But the
yeah.
right set of people can take the whole game to the next level. That's
Next
very
level.
important.
Yeah, definitely. And I remember when you talk about the bootstrapping part. I remember like last week on Twitter Spaces, we had the different sharks of the Shark Tank India, right? Ashneer Grover was there.
Oh yeah,
He also said a
yes,
similar thing, right? Like, like if we take up money from someone, if we receive funding from someone, then it is always a pressure on our head that, okay, this is something, this much amount of money we have to return back to the investor. So he also said and gave us similar advice that, if you are able to bootstrap it, or if you are, the people who are who do not at all require funding, or the people who are, doing local businesses, like somebody is having a typical shop or something like that, they are much more profitable and they know how to do the business in their own limits, right? They do not want to scale, or they do not want to perform any sort of those activities in which it will give them a lot more tension in order to, give back their money to the investor, right? So it's a very great concept of, bootstrapping your own company and then scaling it at your own pace, right? So yeah, talking about Shark Tank, like, do you watch Shark Tank? Do you like the whole concept of the show?
So I before this, I watched this elevator speech that was run by this entrepreneur, right? That's very straightforward. Shark Tank. So far, I just watched couple of episodes, not more
Okay.
than that, because it started, is a 9 to 10. It's that time, majority of the family member will be there.
Yeah.
So I let them enjoy that. But yeah, I have a plan. It's available on YouTube. So maybe I will just start a YouTube and start watching that. But couple of the episode I watched, but it's really going great. Everyone is talking about that. I also attended that space, which was the hosted by
Okay.
the Mayank, Mahima, and Udit.
Yeah.
It really well. But yeah, it's I think initially people were hating it the way the sharks were talking to people. But I think when you compare with that elevator speech or Dragons Den or a Shark Tank in the different countries, right? It's much more very straightforward thing, right? But it is we don't have to forget that we are in India. So
Yeah.
and for this television also, they would like to attract all kind of audience there, because it's like the 9 to 10 and they would like to make most out of it. So if you do not
Absolutely.
add this kind of elements into the show, they may not able to do that. But yeah, this my partner Mansi's father's, every day he's wait, they both watch it together without fail. 9 to 10, it's like a block calendar, right? So see, her father is watching. Her father must be 60 now, right? If you do not add this kind of element, it is a very straightforward. Someone is coming, pitching in a minute or so,
Yeah.
they are done. It's not at all fun. Will we get this kind of all these memes, right? It's not
And
my
absolutely
expertise.
not.
I am you have done it. You will not, right? So this is what it's required. So it's there, but I'm seeing that the day one and the day now. I think now everyone is loving that. Like it's really good that, and everyone now is looking for the second season. Very eagerly
Yeah.
for that. And now when Asneer and Aman are not there, and even say that, I think without them, it's like it's like a kind of a dead kind of thing, right? This is what
Yeah.
even people
Yeah.
are talking about.
Yeah, definitely. Like as you talked about memes generating about the in and around the show, right? So I have also seen that you also post a lot of memes on Twitter, and you have yeah, though you have started out recently, but these memes are really good. So like, is there any like I would say, is there any psychology behind that? Like, or how does the memes really affect the humans? I would say because there's an entire industry settling up, because and of course more and more number of people are joining in to be recruited as memer, or people who can make the other people laugh in terms of in an online way, right? So is there any way, what do you think about that? Like, is it's what's the psychology of a human when a person see or receives a meme and then gets a laugh out of it, right? So what do you think about that?
So one thing I would say, this humor, right? The second one is relatability, right? And
Mm.
third will be, it's like kind of a stress reliever kind of thing, right? All the professional are there, and let's say when you see certain memes, it will bring a smile on your face, right? If you are very much stressed and suddenly you see something and that bring a smile on your face, your whole mood will get changed, right? And I think that is what it is. For me, I have started posting this memes since I think last April, May something,
Yeah.
I'm continuing posting there. So initially I was posting purely on sales part of it. This was a long back. Even in this LinkedIn at that time, Pranjal on, if you're following Pranjal on LinkedIn, he is doing this meme since quite a long time on
Mm-hmm.
on LinkedIn. So I
Mm-hmm.
started doing that, and if people are relating that, right, so certain memes will really do, will well on a Twitter, something will on, a link, because both caters a different kind of audience. For me,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter whatever coming to my mind, I will just make it and I will just post it. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care if I'm getting 10 likes or 100 likes. Sometimes, it's really going crazy as well, right? Where it is getting 300, 500 like as
Yeah.
well. So start idea is also similar to that meme. Also, you have a startup idea, something, and it goes, very crazily. So that is the humor one and the relatability, and I think there's a stress reliever, like it's kind of a fun, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
is actually everyone is doing. You take any brand, everyone is going into the meme, right? Once it is a
Yeah,
one, it
absolutely.
is going, everyone will be follow that. So whole day, for a couple of days, you will see like everyone is talking about that. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what now, it's like a connection or the emotion language. That's what I think that helps there.
Yeah, absolutely. And memes are very important for any organization. And as you told that it is kind of a human emotional connect between the user and the company, right? So it definitely adds a lot of value to the other person. So talking more about your own company, like the Clueless company, right? So tell us something about more on that, right? How did you get started with that? How did you like? I mean, I'm sure that it must be very difficult, like leaving a job and then starting out with the company. So how did you get started with it, and what were the challenges that you faced?
First I will tell you, this little bit of a background from where we both are coming, Mansi and I, so you can better connect it. So we both met in a previous organization where, Mansi has worked there for the 6 years. She was a content marketer when she joined, and when she quit, she was the head of marketing there. And when I joined, I worked there for 14 years, as I mentioned earlier. I was a support executive, and when I quit, I was a head of sales there. So,
Mm-hmm.
so combined, we come with a 20 years of experience in marketing, sales, and support. So we both has resigned almost all, the same time. Mansi has resigned on 4th of June, and I resigned on 7th of June. So yeah, after that resignation, at that time it was nothing fixed that we are going to start a company at all. It was just a decision that okay, we would like to move, we would like to do something else. It's time to move out from this comfort zone, right? And for me, it was like that's it. I think it's now time to move on, right? So for me, it was like, now what shall I do? Like, shall I go for another job or shall I do my startup? And then one time I just reached a level that okay, I will go for another job. Then again, after a few days, things strike to my mind that if I go for a job, then again it is a comfort zone only. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
leaving that comfort zone in terms of the fixed salary per month I will be getting.
Yeah.
Definitely I might get more than what I was already earning. So we both were living a luxury life, is nothing like that. But his throughout this whole and we were serving at 3 months of notice period, right? So Mansi's last day was the 4th September and mine was the 7th September. So for this whole 3 months, I was trying to convince Mansi that okay, please join, please join me, because marketing is one element, is very important for any business. That's how everyone
Mm-hmm.
start talking about it, right? But then she said that it seems I'm not confident. I think I still need the time to learn certain thing. I was convincing her that if you start our own thing, you will even learn more than that, because we will get a
Absolutely.
chance to talk to varieties of people, varieties of businesses, and the
Mm-hmm.
domain and all the thing. But still, she was skeptical. But the good part is everything related to website content or even my strategies or everything, she was with me from day one.
Mm-hmm.
So right, even it was, so I actually started a company as a this proprietorship on when I launched on 10th of September. I was alone. I started this as a proprietorship because Mansi said no for it, and I had to do all this GST registration and all those things,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So I have done that. Just after a week, it was the 16th of September, which is a Friday evening. She contacted me and said that Mehul, I think I am ready. I would like to join you. I said, you must have told me before that. Now we have to do all this process again, right? Because when
uh,
it's changed from proprietary to partnership, so it's like we have to go with the partnership deed and the PAN card and this GST and all.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
still going on after this, 3-4 months. Still it is going on, but we have done that. So when actually started that company on 10th September, 10th September 2021, started as a sales and support related services because that was my expertise, and I did not want to do something which I am not good at. I know a little bit of marketing, so I can give that, but it's not my whole expertise. So after
Okay.
that 16th September, the whole game has changed because Mansi came in place. So now marketing is also added,
Mhm.
but and also one very good part was that even before start launching a company, we had our first customer on board whom we were
Oh,
giving consultancy in terms of the sales part mainly,
okay.
right? So that customer also I have this received from LinkedIn itself. So that was the thing. So this is, I will not say this, so I would say that I have closed the biggest deal of my life, which was to I brought Mansi on
See.
board, added the Clueless company, and now she also agreed. I think that is one of the best decisions I have ever made. That I decided I am actually learning a lot of things, so that's really good part. And the challenges, as I say, that for me, challenges was to convince us throughout this whole journey and all, right? But I would not say that. But yeah, apart from that, like the communication and all this meeting, and also as such, we haven't faced that. But yeah, now we are, as when we are also growing, right? So now we also need to expand the team. So we are now thinking to even hire more people. We have one intern already. Now we are even talking to maybe take one more intern or maybe some food. Don't know, we still a lot of things are going on because yesterday only we signed about 3 new clients in the same day, right? And some communication is going on. So we are doing, so this is all whole journey has started. And the why the Clueless company is basically, as you say, that you are also an engineer. So what we have seen is that engineers, like most of the, as you say, that people are engineers, they are building a product, right? But now they're clueless now how to take the product to the market. So the Clueless company is designed for the clueless people who don't know now what is next in terms of marketing, sales, and support. Okay, so we are helping them in terms of the strategies or the execution or the implementation, their operations, and all those. So that's what the consultancy or the mentorship which we are providing to them, right? So with majority of the agency, what is the thing is they are more into this marketing part of it, but we are also offering sales and support part also. So that is the added advantages which we have. Along with that, we are also working with the various agencies who are just providing marketing, and we are collaborating with them, and we can say, okay, from our side, if you want, we can take care of the sales and that
Sales
part.
part.
We can do that, right? So that kind of thing also which we are doing, and we are not trying to be doing everything on our own.
Mhm.
As and when required, we are outsourcing the things. So for the website, we have a certain people. We also have the pool of freelancers. If the content works comes, we can do that. If it is a graphic design, we have one agency. So we
Yeah.
are
Okay.
mainly focusing on what is our expertise is, which is
Mhm.
this marketing, sales support, the GTM, and sales enablement, and all those things. So this is
Okay.
what how it started the Clueless
Great.
company.
Great.
Story
It's
behind it.
yeah, it's really a very interesting story. Like convincing Mansi about it, and finally she agreed, and things happened, right? So it was very difficult for her as well to get on board in with the Clueless company, right? And she was very skeptical about she did not know, maybe she is not enough for to provide her expertise or things like that. She had those doubts in her mind, right? So but you told her that okay, just come on board, and we'll together learn a lot of new things, right? So what do you think, like even after having a lot, you have a lot of experience in corporate, and now you also have a little bit of experience in working as a startup as well. So where is the growth, where is the, like, where uh, a person can grow on more basis, like running his or her own startup or working in a company, like it might be sound a little cliche for that, but I would love to know more about that.
So I would say this: we both have combined already crossed the in terms of the earnings which we were earning in our previous organ. We both have crossed that individually. I would say that, right? But that again come with a lot of efforts and all those things, right? So it was very easy when we were doing a job that okay, every one of us we were getting a salary. If it is we are sick or not, we take this sick leave or this
Mhm.
casual leave. which those liberty which you do not have. Now every between first to fifth, between first to five, you have to send your purchase and the sales invoices to your tax consultant to file a GST and all. So all this thing, it will come along with that. You have to be prepared with that, right? But if you have certain process in place, processes are also as such we had process, but for certain things you require, like pay certain bills on time, right, for to sending these invoices to that. So it will come there. But what I have always believed, that doesn't matter. So I have, when I was working in my previous organization, I have always worked that it's my own company and one of the board member in that company. Like every decision I was involved with that. I have never ever thought that I will ever leave that company. And in fact, when I left, or this many people were just thinking that I was the one of the owner in the company. That's how I was working there. But suddenly, thing is that this I was not satisfied with my own thing. Team was performing better, but I was not satisfied with my own thing, and that's a deal breaker for me, right? So that's why I had to take that decision. So it can, I think, happen with anyone. And I believe that success or a failure or anything, it's, I think, many a times it's not in our hand, but we just have to make sure we should give our 100 and not 100%, 110%. If we do that,
Absolutely.
at least we can do something reasonably. We can't say that we will make a lot of money. So for our goal is not to we are not looking for a lot of money. If we are making some reasonably well, we can do earn some bread and butter. At the same time, we also would like to give back to the society, where we can have that employment for the other people also. So that will be more work for everyone. At the same time, definitely we can also expand the business, because if we have a
Absolutely.
more people, we can take a more customer, we can serve, so we can empower one more business for that. So it is like it is a parallelly the thing only.
Absolutely, and that's really great of you guys that you are starting out with an initiative, right? And like money is not the only goal that you guys are working on, and you are more into giving back to the society, right? So like in the end, I always ask this question to all the entrepreneur guests that I have, which is the entire bubble, or maybe the entire future that is looking about the Web 3.0 and the NFTs and the cryptos and things like that. So what's your take on this? Like, I ask these the questions because you guys are always a very optimistic people, and you have a lot of experience in different industries and a lot of networks around different kind of people. So what do you think? Because your opinions are the one that actually matters, because the future looks very uncertain, and the people who are very aggressive on that are the people who are a lot younger and people who are very, very impatient, right? So I would love to know more about your views on Web 3.0 and all the fad that has been created.
Right. So yes, rightly said, Sankalp, that right now these NFTs, crypto, Web3, all these things are going on, right? If we look back, just 2 years ago, right, we have never even imagined that there will be a day where everyone will be working remotely. Now, right? So after this pandemic, things has changed drastically. And even if you just look at one the SaaS part, the SaaS product, right? So after this pandemic, I think who all were serving the desktop-based product, I think that's will not say the dead, but it's like almost died after this pandemic. And whoever will have this cloud-based product, they already got that benefit out of that, because everything was a lockdown. So people has already started reaching out to those companies and started taking trials and all. I was doing that myself in my previous organization. So I know, like, so overnight things has changed, right? So it's the same thing if you will take the example of the internet also. So if if I tell that when I joined my previous organization, the internet was very expensive, plus it was not available in many countries, especially in African countries. I know that when we were downloading a file of 20 MB, it was taking 24 hours or even sometimes 48 hours, and we simply can't download it normally. We were using kind of a BitTorrent or BitComet kind of software was available. We were downloading and pirated movie songs and all. So
Yeah,
we were
okay.
using that, right? Just because of this internet, things has changed drastically. If you just look at this very classic example of the Twitter, right? Do you think this all this what, let's say right now we are talking, we would have made if there is, there's no pandemic, majority of the people got I would not say active, but hyperactive during this pandemic time only. So all the
Absolutely.
freelancer and everything, because of this only. So definitely, in terms of technology, it has to be, it will go like that. It might be web 3.0, or this web 4.0. We never know what is coming, right?
Yeah,
It will be something else. You also have, this metaverse thing, also
yeah,
all these
yeah,
things. So it is definitely, things are going to be there, right? But there are a couple of things are there. Out of that, which thing will pick up, we don't know. One thing will pick up and it will go like, for a quite long of time. So that has
absolutely.
definitely, it has to be there. Now, as you can see that, yesterday only during this our budget session, it say that if you are having, digital assets, you have to pay 30% tax for
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Still it is under the dilemma that, it is still legal or not. But and government is also planning to introduce that, the digital currency for that. So if you see that adoption is if it is at a government level, if such kind of adoption can come, so in terms of the business, definitely it is going to be there. So next 5 years, I would say, will be really interesting in this space. Whatever is going to happen, I will not say the web3 or NFT or anything like that, but I believe that whatever is trending right now, in terms of whether it is a meme or, it is a technology or anything, you should take a leverage of it. At least you should have some knowledge about it,
Absolutely.
right? So that what's happening in the market, right? And if someone talk about it, right? So I'm not a technical guy, but when you say the
Mm,
web 3.0, I'm hearing it. So I can say that, okay, this is okay. I'm hearing from a lot of many people have been talking about web 3, that the NFT. Now I'm also into a little bit of NFT, so I know a little bit about that. So I can talk. No code also, it's going like, just everything. So definitely it is like the future, right? So if something can save your time and make the things better, definitely it is going to be appreciated, by everyone. And that's I think the future, because people are losing patience all the time, right? People don't have a time at all. So
uh,
in late time, if you can produce more, definitely that's the added advantage.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, thank you so much, Mehul, for this lovely podcast episode. With this, we end it up here. Yeah, and it was great talking to you.
Same here, Sankalp. Thanks a lot for having me. Really, this enjoy conversation with you.